So after he did that, he went to prison, obviously. Um, about 6 months he was there. He was on trial in 2003 for Morris's murder, right? But he got acquitted because he claimed self-defense. And the jury, I get where they're coming from. Like, they weren't on trial asking if there's not a charge for dismemberment. There's not against him. There was the murder charge. So I feel like the police might have played that one the wrong way, but that's not my business. Like, if I can insert it, the gif or the meme of Kermit just, like, sipping his tea, it's none of my business, but whatever. And he's so stupid. But, like, he said self-defense, and that was enough doubt in their mind. They couldn't say otherwise, so I get it. And they're just doing the best they can. So, like, people got mad at the jury. That's not something they can do. Like, well, I mean, they can get mad at them, but, like, you don't know what you would do unless you were in that situation, I guess. He pled guilty to several minor charges. And in 2005, he served, like, 6 months in prison. And then after he got released from that, he violated his parole and spent, like, another month in jail. In 2006, Durst, he was paid off by about they paid him about $65 million to settle this lawsuit he filed for his share of his, like, inheritance, basically, like, family money. Here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then he started filming the Jinx, with Andrew Jarecki. Jarecki had done a movie that was based on, like, what happened with him and Kathy, called All Good Things. So, during, like, the interviews for the Jinx, they noticed that Bob didn't have any, like, he's not self-aware. He's an idiot. He's not very self-aware, and he does a lot of talking to himself. So they kind of, I don't want to say they used it to their advantage, but in, like, the last part of the documentary, they are talking to Susan's stepson. And Susan's stepson, when Susan was dating their dad, the kids, or when they split up or whatever, the kids stayed with Susan instead of their biological father because she was so good to them. So he got a lot of her belongings, and he called one day and he found, like, this letter from Bob to Susan, and he was like, I'm shaking, I don't know what to do, and he invited the filmmakers over, because he really didn't think Bob had anything to do with it. So he comes over, the filmmakers come over, and he shows them this envelope, right? And it has the same handwriting, the same misspelling of Beverly in Beverly Hills as the cadaver letter that was received by the police. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. By the police when she died. And nobody else knew about this. So Andrew Jarecki put it in a lockbox and was like, we need to ask him if he can tell the difference. So they, like, photocopied them, like, next to each other, I guess, and, like, did that. So from there, excuse me, I'm drinking an iced coffee. They did, like, the final interview, and he said, they're talking in the interview, and they're, like, asking about this letter, and he's like, can you tell me which one you did? And he started, like, almost getting, like, acid reflux, and he was, like, burping. And then, sorry, I'm very excited. I'm reading, like, this thing. So, as, like, they're finishing the final interview, he's like, well, I need to use the restroom, and they left his mic hot. And so he goes in, and he's, like, running the water and stuff, and he, like, whispers to himself, and he's like, what the hell did I do? Killed them all, of course. So honestly, it's my favorite part of the whole documentary, and I have watched that documentary over and over and over again. As some of you know, like I preach about it all the time. Um, anyway, it's a lot. But the night before they aired that episode, Bob got arrested for Susan Berman's murder. He got arrested in New Orleans, and he had registered under an assumed name. And he had a gun, but he was a felon, so that's illegal. He got sentenced in 2016 to 85 months in prison in California. In 2016, he was arraigned in LA. He pled not guilty to murdering Susan. And 2 years later, he was ordered to stand trial after determining that there was sufficient evidence against him. In 2001, this year, he was convicted of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison. And shortly after, he got... This is like the big update, right? So shortly after that, he got charged from New York officials with Kathleen Durst's murder. So really, I think this is a great step. I feel like Kathleen's family just deserves so much more than like this piece of garbage, just like not having to say anything. So I'm hoping that because they charged him, they have enough evidence to try him. He's 78 years old, but like that's not the point. Like he's an old murderer, and he deserves to be convicted of those crimes. I watched parts of the court case, and he just comes off extremely privileged. He just comes off like his privilege is constantly showing. He does have like he has a lot of medical problems now that he's like old, and he even had like he has like a stint in his brain, like a drain to like remove excess pressure on his brain. I don't know which one he wants. Sorry. This is like a day in the life. Like my son just wants to watch marbles all day. Anyway, but it's just like one of those things. Like throughout, like he had needed like almost like a teleprompter, but it had like subtitles, so he could hear what was going on in his case. And it just, I don't know. They tried to gain a lot of sympathy after like what happened with his mom. His mom died when he was a kid, and like his grandpa or whoever got him up in the middle of the night to watch her jump off the roof. They were like, "Oh, say goodbye to mommy." And he was the oldest kid, so like he was, I don't know, there's like a different bond with your first kid because they made you a mom, and I don't even know how to like explain it. It's not that I love my other children any less. It's that, my oldest made me a mom, and there's like a different kind of bond there. I don't know. She must have been going through something very severe to have done that, because I think she had 4 kids, and I can't imagine doing anything that drastic with to my children. And me, like you would say, like, people go through things you don't understand. Trust me, I deal with postpartum every single day. My son's almost 3, and I deal with postpartum now, and it's hard. And I'm about to get real open and honest on my channel. But like it's hard, and like you deal with some invasive thoughts, and sometimes bad things. Like you think about bad things. I should preface by saying I am currently on the appropriate medication for myself, and I manage it most of the time very well. And so I don't have, like, this isn't something that I'm dealing with right now. I'm safe, but I remember that there were times dealing with postpartum, like, where I had thoughts that I didn't feel comfortable with. And I think that's what led me mostly to seek help with it. And it, I think it's scary when you have like invasive thoughts like that and you don't know what to do. And back then, mental health was like so stigmatized, and I'm so grateful to have had children in a time where I can talk about, like, hey, I think I'm having postpartum depression, and my doctor is understanding and they listen, and it's like a big deal to, like, be able to talk about that stuff. It's hard, but, like, if we take the stigma out of it, we can learn every single day. And I think mental health is very important, and that's kind of one of the reasons I'm in school for what I am, because I feel like the kids that go through, like, the foster system and, like, um the CPS system, like, I feel like their mental health is considered, yeah, but, like, I don't know that it's talked about as much, like, with them. So, like, really kind of tapping into, like, why I want to be a social worker is going into reasons like, there's kids out there that don't get the mental health help that they need. And that's really hard on me, like, to deal with on my conscience, because, like, what if these kids had help? Would they be better off? Like, can we help them learn to talk about their feelings better? Can we, and I can't imagine, like, I've always told my kids, listen, I want you to be able to come to me for anything. I want you to be able to talk to me about anything. I'm not going to get mad if you tell me the truth. I'm not going to get as mad if you tell me the truth, because we all know that that's a lie parents tell their kids. But you'll get in less trouble for being honest with me. And it all comes down to, like, what kind of a relationship do you want with your kids? Do you want your kids to be, like, scared to tell you things? Or do you want your kids to be able to, like, come to you, like, if they have a problem? I guess my biggest example, and I'm so proud of her for raising her son this way, but I have a friend whose son is 11, and he's not allowed to, like, date. Obviously, he's 11, but there was a girl that he had a crush on that asked him to be her boyfriend. And he said, I don't know. And he felt comfortable enough to talk to his mom about it. And, they came to the conclusion that he did not feel that he was ready to date, which is good. But he would like to, like, maybe go to the movies with her, or, hang out with her outside of school. And his mom was proud that he made, like, a big decision like that. And I don't know, like, from what I know about her son, he seems very, like, honestly professional, but, like, thorough in his thought process, and, like, he seems very mature. And so for him to, like, come to that conclusion and talk to her about it is great. Other news in the true crime world, I don't know. Right now, I'm trying to think of, like, what else I can do for, like, a crime and stitch. But you guys, I'm at 64.99% this morning, and I'm almost at a page finish. I think if I work really hard, I can get a page finish today, and I'm very excited about it. What's the, like, most satisfying thing that you find when you're stitching? Do you like page finishes, or do you like zeros on your pattern keeper, or what? I think it's so satisfying to be able to finish a page. And the way I've started doing my stitching, I think in some of these, like, books that I'm stitching have, like, a lot of confetti. And then there's, like, others that are big blocks of color, like this one. And I don't know, like, how I feel about it. But I've started stitching where I'll take, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but the chart that I got for my Train of Dreams was before I knew about Pattern Keeper. And so I got the large format chart to be able to, like, see everything. And so when I do a page, I'll go over 10, or I'll think about, like, the next, like, column, I guess, right? And so it's usually 10 over, and I'll start at the end. And I guess I started this on the other side, but I'll start at the end that I'm stitching from. So, like, right now I'm going right to left. So I'll start on the right side, and I'll go to the very end of where I need to be stitching. And, geez, why is that like that? Okay. And I'll stitch the next color in, like, the row. And like you can see from my back, I don't really care what it looks like right now. Because this is just how I've learned to stitch, and I don't have a lot of big blocks of color, so I don't care how far I just carry it as far down as the pattern keeper, like the viewpoint goes, I suppose. But what I'm doing is I'll go and I'll stitch, like right now I'm stitching 814, and then when I look, all the other colors have been filled in until like 6 or 7, oops, like 6 or 7 stitches later, and I'll usually only go to the length of that column, so like 10 over is the furthest I'll go over, and I do like this way, all the way down and fill in all the stitches like as I go. But if there's a lot of color, or if there's a lot of stitches of that color, I'll just keep stitching until I run out of thread or until it gets to the bottom of where I can see. And then as I fill in a square, I move my pattern keeper view down. If that does not make sense, please message me. I'll try to get a video of it. But I don't know how I'm going to do that without showing like a pattern itself. But right now, since I'm trying to do a page finish, this page finish is 2 columns, so 20 and then 3. So I'm just going across the whole little row like this, back and forth. And it's so satisfying to see this picture come in from top to bottom. I don't know how else to explain it, but it is so awesome. I'm excited and I love it, and I'm so excited. This part right here, this like up down, is the little gingerbread house. So I cannot wait. So this is what I'm going to be stitching on today. And I might pop in and add more little videos or whatever. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I noticed I found a couple new to me stitchers. And I don't remember her name right offhand, but she does like, her videos are like 10, maybe 15 minutes long. And she posts a lot, and she's got a lot of subscribers. And so I thought, well, maybe if you guys like the short and sweet, I can do like short and sweet. Or I can do longer videos like this, where it's just like us hanging out. But I need to know, I guess, what people prefer. And yeah, like every time I post a video, someone new is like, hey, or checks me out or whatever. And I'm so, so grateful for all of you. And I can't wait to like be more active in posting, and I think it really helps me mentally because like right now my boyfriend is deployed again. And so what I like to do is I can like, I don't want to follow like the standard Flosstube, I guess, format because like I have kids and it gets a little crazy sometimes, and I don't know that I can consistently post every day because like sometimes my dad is here and he like invites himself to my house sometimes, and I don't know when he's coming, and it's the holidays, and like I don't know when my boyfriend gets back. I don't know what our schedule is gonna look like as far as kids and filming and stuff, so I don't want to like get stuck and like feel the pressure of like, oh my gosh, I have to post an update because XYZ. I want to just post because I feel like it, you know, like I felt like having a conversation with my followers today. That's what I'm doing, and we're stitching and we're having a conversation, and I think that this is what I like most about cross stitch, is that it's versatile. And like, you know, I guess when there was a group of us that kind of lived close together, when we all used to get together and stitch, we would just sit and like, we didn't even have to be talking about anything, but we would just all stitch on our projects. We could all sit together and have our coffee and have our fun and like just talk. I don't know. I think I like it because like I don't have to be working on the same thing Christina is working on. Shout out if you watch this video or if you ever find my YouTube. I don't have to be working on what Christina's working on to enjoy it, or what Heather's working on to enjoy it. And like, I've made some really good friends. Like Heather, she's so sweet, and I feel so terrible because she's had a year, let me tell you. But we're all close. I mean, I still talk to Heather, and then there was another lady, God, I don't remember her name even, but, you know, she was older, and, like, between all of us, like, I have kids, Christina's expecting her first kid, Heather, they don't have children, but they have their kitty children, and Heather works at, like, a linen place, like, they do cross-stitching, fabrics, and then the other lady, I don't remember her name whatsoever, I'm so sorry, she, you know, was retired, so she got to spend a lot more time stitching, but we also all have, like, different preferences, like, I prefer full coverage, big projects, and I'm a serial starter, and Christina's a serial starter, and she prefers big projects, well, Heather likes really tiny fabrics, and I like 18 counts, and so, like, we can all make friends, and it's nice to have people close, but then, like, you think about it, too, and with the coronavirus and, like, the pandemic hitting everybody, we all kind of had to, like, separate and not be around each other as much. Well, then there's, like, my friends like Tess, and Tess lives on the other side of the freaking planet from me, and is she fantastic? Yes. Would I do anything for her? Absolutely. And she's one of the best friends I've made in a really long time, and I adore her. Sorry to put you on the spot. If I embarrassed you, I'm sorry. But, you know, like, I would literally do anything for her. If she needed me to come to Australia right now, I would put in for my passport and go. Because I don't have a passport. Sorry. Even with their giant spiders and their terrifying kangaroos. Have you seen how many muscles a kangaroo has? They're huge. And Tess is like, yeah, but they don't, like, come up to your house. But I've seen videos, Tess, where they do come up to people's houses. So next time you see a kangaroo, you show me. I'm just saying. But I love that this community is so opening and accepting. I'm like, it's just perfect. And I'm so grateful. But I need input to figure out what you guys like for videos. And, like, is it okay that I post and I just ramble? Is that okay with you? Or do you want it to be structured? Or how do I do this? And obviously I'm not doing it to make anybody else happy, but it makes me happy, so y'all can deal, but I would like some input, I guess, you know? It's like one of those things where you, like, you want advice from your best friend, but you don't know if you're gonna take it, but you do want to hear what they have to say. Oh, golly. Okay. But yeah. Also, if anybody has any tips on framing with a back that looks like a thread box threw up, please let me know. I will appreciate it. All of my info is in the description below, and make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell. If you liked this video, if you didn't, let me know kind of what you didn't like about it, and I will move forward from there. But I think it's important to talk about the Bob Durst case and what a piece of garbage he is after all these years. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a happy Thanksgiving if you're in America. Thank you so much. Well, I mean, you can have a happy Thanksgiving if you're not in America, but, like, it's an American holiday. Have a good day. Bye.